What's up, Game of Thrones fans? Welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing the episode 1 of season 6. So yeah, let's go. This is Chelsea, my fiance, and we're both huge Game of Thrones fans. So today we're going to just look back at the episodes and just give you our thoughts and see what we think is going to happen for the rest of the season. So yeah, we'll do this every Tuesday. So where do we start? Had to wait for so long for this.
I was pretty impressed overall.
Yeah?
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed at all.
I think the way that they left it on so many cliffhangers at the end of season 5 made it like have this acceleration immediately. Really felt like it had a great pace to it for an opening episode. So the first shot is a great panning shot of the wall swooping into Castle Black, and you get the sound of Ghost howling, which was a really powerful start. It really made you feel
Brought tears to my eyes.
kind of really sad straight away. I don't know, it had this real energy to it. It was my favourite sequence, I think, in fact, in the whole episode was the opening. There was one shot that I found really interesting, was the one where Davos was staring at the blood on the floor.
It was a bit too long.
He spent a bit of a while looking at that. I don't know whether he was just like seeing how long he'd been dead, you know, whether or not it was, you know, the blood was frozen, so he'd been dead a while. I don't know. And then when Melisandre comes in and says that she saw him in the flames, she saw him fighting in Winterfell. I think this may be some sort of foreshadowing.
I'm gonna say
She saw Jon Snow in the flames fighting at Winterfell. Whenever she had a vision with Stannis, she never really said, "I've seen you killing Ramsay or killing Roose or anything like that." She's always referred to as seeing Bolton banners burning, but in this one she refers specifically to Jon. She's seen Jon fighting.
Saw him at Winterfell.
So do you think she's got her visions sort of mixed up?
I think she might have.
But obviously Jon Snow's dead, so... There wasn't that much reference of Jon Snow's body in this one. I mean, he was there a bit, but there wasn't an importance on it. The more importance lay on the next bit where Alistair Thorne explains why he did it. And he kind of gets a lot of the Night's Watch on his side. I think his speech is good enough that he gets them sort of on side. They want to show you that because I think...
Because there's a battle coming.
Which we thought would happen. I don't know if it was going to be Mel or Ed, but Ed's gone off to get the wildlings.
Mel.
Melisandre?
You call her Mel.
She's my bro. So it kind of makes the importance of the guys in that room, it makes their situation much more dramatic. Like, we had that scene from the trailer where they're banging down the door. And now that you know that Alistair Thorne's got all the Night's Watch on his side, it's going to be, you know, sort of 40 versus 10 or 40, even 5. Are you itchy?
Yeah. Alistair Thorne. Thorne.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be killed.
Do you think Alistair's going to be killed in this?
I hope so.
I kind of had a bit of respect for him, the way he sort of spoke honestly about it. He could have easily lied and been like, you know, it wasn't me, it was Ollie or whatever. Kind of respect the fact that, you know, he got on with it and he said that it was me, and if you want to be with me, then be with me. If not, you can leave. Davos was right. He said that a load of people owe their lives to Jon Snow. In general, the Night's Watch are going to pay. You know, we know that Davos gets out of that. We've seen shots of him later on in the season on a battlefield. Alright, so then we move on to Winterfell and we get this kind of cool scene between Miranda and dead Miranda and Ramsay. And he almost shows a bit of remorse, doesn't he? He always shows a nice side to him.
Such a side to him that we haven't seen before.
And he just says, nah, she's good meat, so throw her to the dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a clever bit of writing. It was kind of funny. He's out for vengeance this season, and the next scene we get with Roose starts off kind of happy, like Roose is saying, "Well done, you've done a great job, but you're also an idiot because Sansa's escaped, and we now are sort of caught between the North, who hate them, and now the Lannisters, who they've betrayed by marrying Sansa off to Ramsay." Where do you think the relationship between Roose and Ramsay's going?
I was just like, that whole time, I wasn't listening to much. I was thinking about Facebook.
Great. Can you see something developing there?
Death. Ram's going to kill Roose, isn't he? Obviously.
When Roose kind of brought up the situation between now that he hasn't produced an heir, he's kind of hanging his hopes on Fat Walder producing a boy. I mean, it's not looking good for Roose at this point. In the previews for next week, we saw that they're now discussing a strategy to maybe infiltrate Castle Black, I think we saw. Yeah, I can't wait for next week. Next week's going to be insane. My second favourite scene in the whole episode of Sansa and Theon. We thought that they were running through the river to throw off the scent.
Throw off the scent,
but it didn't work. It was gratifying to see Theon get so, you know, show that he cared.
That moment.
Yeah, the moment where they have the cuddle. You can see her finally sort of relax and her finally feel a little bit safe. We know that she's going to be heading to Castle Black, that was where Theon has told her to go.
I think she'll get to Castle Black and find Jon alive. It's going to take her longer than she expects because she's going to know that Arya's not dead.
Yeah, so another one of the previews for next week, we saw that she is asking Brienne about Arya. Brienne spent season 4 searching for Arya, and only came across Sansa by chance. I think that she's probably going to send off Brienne to go and get Arya. I don't know if Sansa will go off herself. I think that she will need to get safe, and she will want to try and take back Winterfell. Really gratifying to see Brienne come in and finally put her sword to a bit of use. Season 5 she was a bit quiet. It's nice to see all these characters who've been in separate worlds for so long, you know, like Theon and Brienne, huge characters on the show but never been in the same scene. And we finally got it in episode 1, so that was awesome. Pod looks like a good fighter now.
He does.
And then we get the scene of the Lannisters. It was cool because I kind of thought that they could do it in a way that Cersei would be devastated. You know, they could have easily cut to her already found out, but they give you that moment of where she says, you know, Marcella.
Which you want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
I wanted to see that. That she realised that her daughter was dead. That's what I wanted to see.
It makes you feel sorry for her. I never felt sorry for her in The Walk of Shame. But
I did a little bit.
Did a little bit. This time I did a bit. She, you know, she's lost 2 of her children, and she goes to talk about the prophecy quite a lot. The gold their crowns, gold their shrouds. All of them are going to die. And now she's obviously, she looked like she was going a little bit mental. She was thinking, you know, well, that's true. And he's like, you don't believe in prophecy, do you? And she's like, no, I do. Look, see, this has happened. And then Jaime comes out with that, fuck the prophecy. And fuck everyone who isn't us. There's a lot of revenge. There's probably a theme running through this episode. You know, Ramsay looking for revenge. Sansa looking for revenge. The Night's Watch loyal to Jon looking for revenge. The Wildlings looking for revenge. The Lannisters looking for revenge. And we get this scene with Marjorie in the cell. And she's talking to the Scepter before the High Sparrow comes in, and they do this like good cop, bad cop kind of routine. But I think that you can see from the last shot of Marjorie that she's really worried, and that she is in a very
vulnerable place.
That she'll have to rat out her brother. And I think that this will sort of come to a climax in the middle of the season, is where that they'll have to accept the faith and admit their wrongs, and ultimately have to turn on the rest of the Tyrell army. And it's interesting to see the comparison between this season and last season to how Marjorie deals with this situation that Cersei had to deal with. So it's almost the exact same. So then we get the scene of Dawn, which was really weird because I didn't think we were going to see a lot of Dawn at all this season. 30 seconds into the scene, and then they get the letter that Marcella's dead. Tyene Sand just straight up stabs Hotar in the back. And
super unexpected.
It was super unexpected.
It's just difficult to see where this is going, like why they've killed them.
The next scene we find them killing Trystane on the boat. They're taken out.
Their own family.
Interesting to see that all the guards never did anything to stop them. They're fed up of watching Doran sit around and do nothing. But Oberyn was killed in a trial by combat.
Exactly.
So what I don't that's just law. They've now got an army behind them because the guards let them kill Doran and Arya Hotar. 2 guys who I was really looking forward to seeing this season, so I'm a bit excited about that, to be honest. Moving on. And Trystane gets killed as well. So that's the Martell family wiped out, I guess.
Yep.
Shame. You get a scene of Tyrion and Varys walking through the streets of Meereen. Meereen is deserted now, and it's clear that the city is in complete turmoil. You know, the ship's getting burnt, and then this new Red Priest preaching to the former slaves to rise up. So it just looks like it's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
Where Tyrion goes over and apparently threatens to eat the baby, but then actually wants to give the woman food for her baby. I thought it was really funny.
Did you? I was watching them.
That was supposed to be one of Varys' little birds. I think there was he was talking about the little birds, and you saw they gave a viewpoint of somebody who was behind the mesh looking at them. That's going to be one of their main missions, but then for them to reference that their fleet's been burnt, I think it's just to tell them that they're trapped, that they can't get back to Westeros, they can't, they're stuck there. Get the scene of I can never say those names for some reason.
Dario and
Jorah. It's hard to say, there's too many rares. And then they find Daenerys' ring. I think
he knew they'd taken her, he knew.
He knew, yeah, and I think he knew what it meant as well. I think he knew that they were in trouble. And I think they'll spend most of the season chasing after. I don't really have anything to say about that scene. I think everybody knew that it was coming. I think the trailer suggested it. Jorah's grayscale's getting worse, but it's literally just, that's a pick-up scene. So I don't mind it for a first episode, it's fine. But it was probably one of the least interesting bits of... I think the banter between them, they're good travelling companions, the banter between them is good. And then we get the scene of Dany with the massive Khalasar. The new Carl Morrow, who I really like. I thought he was really, really good. They talk about their favourite things, seeing a woman naked for the first time, and then the guys go on and say, "Nah, it's killing a Carl." I thought it was quite funny. But you know, but I thought Emilia Clarke was really good in the scene as well. She shows a real strength. She's not afraid at all, and it's a good comparison back to season 1 where when she was terrified of these people. She has a lot of strength now. So we find out that she's going to be going to Dosh Kalin, which is where the widows of the Carls go. And she's supposed to live there for the rest of her life. She's not going to be a slave, she's not going to be treated badly, but she's trapped there. Rumours of things being burnt on set.
Drogon.
Drogon.
You tell I don't want to do this.
Arya. Bravos.
Arya. Bravos. Just got this thing on your nose, not just staring at it.
Did you not? Not in the middle of this? No, seriously. Arya I think it's just another pickup, and it looks like the waif is going to come every day and sort of beat her up until she fights back.
Can't wait to see what happens though.
Well, yeah, I think that eventually it's kind of obvious she'll train, she'll get a bit better. She'll fight her way out of the situation and then hopefully leave and go back to Westeros. So we get a scene of what looks like Alistair Thorne trying to be a little bit nice and saying, look, give up the body, put down your arms, and all is kind of forgiven. I really love Davos in this scene because he's like, I know exactly what he's doing. He says to the guys, you know, he plays along, but it's clear that if they leave that room, they're going to be killed. In the trailer, we thought that they were protecting Jon Snow's body because they wanted to resurrect him.
Yeah.
But it just turns out that
they're just trying to save time.
They're in that room,
time.
save themselves, you know.
Yeah.
As far as they're aware, Jon Snow is dead. And then Davos says, there's always the Red Woman who can save them. He doesn't know what he's talking about. All he knows is that she has some sort of magical power.
He's seen it before.
He's resting his hopes on that, you know, if Ed doesn't come back with the wildlings in time, but there's only so long they can stay in that room. So it places a lot of importance on Davos and what he's, So it places a lot of importance on Melisandre immediately. She's going to have a very, very pivotal role in this season. Davos doesn't know her powers, but he's saying, you know, that she can do things. You'll see it. I think that that's kind of referring to Jon Snow, I guess. What other magical powers she could possibly do to help the Night's Watch in this situation. But they're foreshadowing it. They're telling you that she's going to do something that's going to make this whole situation solve itself. The shot of Melisandre taking off her clothes and revealing that she is in fact a 300-400-year-old woman. But I think it's just to show another side of her journey. I think it's just to make you feel a little bit more sorry for her. I think that a lot of people don't, you know, the things that she's done are terrible. But they really want you to be on her side this season.
It makes you wonder if she does that every night or if she sacrifices herself for him.
I don't know. I don't know what the point is unless they're just showing us that she's a really vulnerable woman. Very broken. I think we'll see next week a lot of her crying.
But you saw the pain in her eyes when she saw Jon Snow.
Because she saw him fighting in the flames, and this is another one of her visions that she has trusted in, and now looks like it will not come true. I think it will in the future, and I think all her visions are true. That, you know, the Bolton banners burning and Jon Snow fighting in Winterfell. It's just bringing back that magical element into Game of Thrones again, and showing us that she has this power because she's had this power to glamour herself to make her look, you know, sort of 30, 40 years old. And yet she's, you know, 400 years old. She'll start getting cold, she'll start freaking out about her faith, and she needs something to spin that around. You get these shots of, like, episode 5, I think it is, of her looking really imperious on a horse. There is some sort of transformation in between now and episode 5. What's going to bring that about?
Possibly bringing Jon Snow back to life. John.
This is what we get. We get really good insight here.
You gotta cut that.
So I think that's where we're going to leave it this week. It was a great episode, a really good start.
I'd give it a good 9.
A 9?
I was pretty impressed.
I think that normally the first episodes are normally the weakest.
Yeah.
I don't really like first episodes. They have to kind of tee everything up for the rest of the season, and they have to touch base with all the characters. I give this one a 7. I thought it was a really, really good start. But I think that it's only going to get better this year. I'm really looking forward to the action sequences later in the series. So I'm going to leave it for a bit of growth. So I'm going to say 7. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We're going to be doing this every week. We're going to be reviewing the episode and looking forward to the next episode, putting it up on Tuesday each week and just talking stuff. And yeah, so if you like what you see, like and subscribe. We'll be back next week. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.